Welcome to our new documentary series coming to you all the way from my dad's office, Illinois. And I'm so excited to be making this documentary for you guys because, well, see, I was inspired by a grade I got on a quiz, and I realized I just needed to make a documentary like this, you know? Philadelphia, Germantown. Now, if you don't get what I just said, let me explain. Germantown, the Battle of Germantown, Germantown, happened on October 4th of 1777. And fun fact, it was in Pennsylvania. I might be saying, Peyton, documentary god, I don't know how to read this paper. Or this, what is this, a map? It's a digital thing, I don't know how to read it. Let me help you, okay? So this is Pennsylvania, right? Here. To help you, here's your key. It's a pencil. Pennsylvania. You see that? This is Philadelphia. Or Phil, for short. Literally right next to it. Germantown. Literally right next to it. This space is equidistant to the space between Germantown and Philadelphia. And they were right next to each other. On October 4th of 1777. In Germantown, Pennsylvania, right by Philadelphia. You don't need to know any of this stuff. That's my dad's principal stuff. Or, what? Sorry, what? That's just my stuff for my business, yeah. Now, what you just witnessed was such an amazing performance by our wonderful actor for George Washington and all the Americans in his army. Now, you may be wondering, why was it running away? Why was George Washington running away? Running away, washing away, same thing, bro. Well, the British kept forcing him and his army out, specifically Cornwallis and his men. So, what George tried to do with his little guys was they started out in New York, which looks like that. I think it looks like that. And then they went to New Jersey. They're like, and as they were walking through New Jersey, the British just kept fighting them. Like, they had like little battles like everywhere. And the Americans, not the British, just kept getting pushed farther and farther back. Bro, what? So then they ended up in, you guessed it, Pennsylvania. That's a pencil. Pennsylvania. Now that is why the battle started, my friends. Americans were just they just wanted America to be theirs. And they were just sick and tired of the British just forcing them out of their space, especially where they wanted their capital to be. This is where George wanted his capital. But the British were like, no. You know, you might be thinking to yourself, how are these Americans going to fight back? You know, the British just have been winning battle after battle after battle. Well, George Washington came up with a new plan here. Insert George Washington. Yeah, George Washington looks so smart in this picture. George Washington. And he is ready. He's gonna get the British this time. This is what George Washington decided to do. George the Goat. This is Germantown right here, you know. You put a little GT for Germantown. Doesn't stand for George Toshington. Okay? And they were like, we need something from the Northeast and the Northwest. George Washington said this, and then the two sides. I think I flipped these around. Northeast, Northwest. I don't really know how the video is going to put it, but hopefully I said it right one of the times. You know, 50-50 shot, said both ways. I got it right. George Washington wanted to have a general at the front of everything. This is the plan. I might be saying, okay, like that looks like normal, you know, like what's going to be really different about this battle? He wanted to fight at 5 a.m. This is the real deal. So, it's the morning of October 7th, which was on 1777. Okay? And George Washington wakes up, probably before 5 a.m., probably like 4, I don't know. It was foggy outside. So they went all into their little 4 nice little columns with each general in the front, and they started marching towards Germantown. But because they really couldn't see through the fog, they couldn't use the hand signals that they were going to use to, tell each other when they were going in for war. So they just one of the groups just went in and was like, I'm going to get these British, bro. Which woke up the British, obviously, I wasn't really surprised if there was a few guys, trying to hurt you. And against all these British guys, You get it. You've been in a Revolutionary War battle before. You understand. So the fog and the gunfire from British, because now British were fighting back. So there was gunfire from them too. The Americans were really confused, and they started to think that other Americans were actually British. So they started to fire at each other, which pretty ineffective if you're trying to hurt the other group and you're just hurting each other. One of the generals actually was pretty drunk. Oh yeah, bro. So I got this war. Oh my goodness. Wow. I have to drink this alcohol right now, even though I got a battle tomorrow. During this whole situation, he was hungover. So he purposefully started shooting people from his own side. And yeah, good thing we have a really good actor who will be able to provide an example of this. Oh wait, we only have one actor for the Americans, so we can't really show them fighting each other. Darn. Well, if you would like to see more actors, you really need to email my hiring manager at peytonkeltosmom@gmail.com and just tell her we need more cats because we need more actors. Got it? Yeah. Washington ended up having to pull back his men because, bro, they were just hurting each other. This was supposed to be a war against the British, not the Americans. So, yeah. You know how I was mentioning how the British would chase them and they chase them out of 2 states? You would think they would chase them all the way to Texas this time. They gotta be annoyed. They just want them gone, But they really only chased them 5 miles because they were hurt, bro. They were hurt. Do 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 do. This is such a great day to fight the British. Bright and early, 5 a.m. Smells nice. Oh no! What's wrong? Guys, we can't see through the fog. Look, it's literally opaque. Oh my god. Good morning, everyone. Crash. What is all that noise? Boom, boom. Oh my gosh, the Americans are coming! Americans are coming! You might be asking yourself, what did this battle even achieve, if you can even call it a battle? The British won the battle by decision. And yeah, they suffered 500 casualties, the British. So that's why it's still technically a battle. You might be saying, geez, 500? That's a lot. But guess how many casualties the Americans suffered? Literally 1,000. And most of those weren't even from the British. They were from themselves. But the battle still happened to boost American morale, even though they lost. Oh my gosh, we caused 500 casualties, which is amazing, even though we got 1,000 plus. That's why they're happy, and the British were more just annoyed, They were probably having really nice dreams, and they were just it's those little Americans again. Those rambunctious teenagers remind me of myself when I was a kid. That's probably what they were thinking. But it was the fact that the American soldiers were becoming more offensive, which sort of showed the French that maybe we should take part in this. Like, we don't like the British, and Americans are starting to fight back. So there might be, like, a point. And what I mean by fight back is they were starting battles. Like, they weren't just, like, sneaking in and the British caught them and then they started shooting. Like, they started this battle, the Americans. Like, they planned it out, you know? 500 casualties from Americans seemed really big at this time. Yeah. Thanks for watching my documentary. But really, this documentary wouldn't be what it is without certain things. This documentary wouldn't be a thing without things like Google Slides and Britain, you know, because one, would have never had the war, and two, would have never been able to make the slides, you know? That's what's really getting created here. Also, I wouldn't have been able to record this documentary without my 3 wonderful actors, you know? It's actually Mr. Twig Bigglesworth's first production. He didn't like acting. And lastly, big thank you to my studying habits, or lack thereof. If they were more present in my life, I probably wouldn't have been inspired to make this documentary. So thank you to them for causing me to do really bad on some of my quizzes. And thank you, Miss Cornell, for giving me the opportunity to maybe give myself 1 extra point. That one problem I got wrong on the quiz about the father of the Constitution, I'll get it right now.